welcome back to my channel. I am Di, and today we're going to do a little chatty vlog. This is going to be a little bit different than the vlogs I normally do, but I wanted to share this information because it really helped both me and Penguin, who just walked past. You want to come over here, buddy? But it helped me and Penguin here, our dog, who is part Basset Hound, part Bulldog. We did a DNA test a couple years ago, so it was really fun. We got to figure out what breeds he was. But he had a number of allergy issues that were going on, and we really felt like it was food related. So we did a food intolerance test for him, and his also had environmental intolerances as well. And we solved some of his issues with that. So I wanted to share kind of the process today and actually share, because I have been having my own issues going on in the background. It worked so well for him that I actually decided to get it for myself. And now that I've done it and got my results back, which we're going to talk about today, we're actually thinking about doing it for some of our other family members that have been having similar symptoms, but not nearly as bad as like I've been having some pretty big issues. And obviously Penguin was having a lot of different types of issues as well. So how this all came about is certain types of food, it really seemed like Penguin was having an allergic reaction to them. He was taking Apoquel, which is an allergy medicine for pets. He was on that for like years. And we're like, is there anything that we can do, like adjust his diet to where he doesn't have to take this stuff every single day? And it really seemed like sometimes it wasn't helping as much and that sort of thing, all depending on the time of day that he took it and all of that. So I came across this 5 strands test on Amazon, and I was like, cool, we can figure out what's going on with him, because he would get red rashes around his arms, especially on his underbelly. Sometimes even his snout, like down around his nose and mouth, would get red, and he'd get red in a few other unmentionable areas as well. And so it was definitely presenting like an allergy or intolerance type of rash. So we did his test, and it came back and it confirmed some of the things that we thought. So his tested for both food and environmental, and we were able to find out he had a number of very interesting intolerances. And how it is rated is there is no intolerance, insignificant, it's gray, a level 1, level 2, which is the middle level, or level 3. So if it's red, it's the highest intolerance. This is really something you should avoid. So going through his intolerances, he has cheese. He really loves cheddar cheese, but unfortunately it's one of his highest intolerances. He also has an intolerance to eggs. He also unfortunately really loves eggs. He also has some intolerances to barley, cornmeal, things that are commonly in dog food. And then he also, we were looking at the proteins. Chicken is the really big offender that we really thought he had an intolerance to. And this test confirmed that level 3 highest intolerance to chicken. So we were able to alter his diet. We got him on a lamb-based food that he didn't have any intolerances to, all of the top main ingredients. And immediately he was able to stop taking the allergy medicine. He does take it preventatively right now in the summer because he does have environmental intolerances, which are not quite as bad as what the food was doing to him. But all those red rashy areas really started to heal and get better and go away. He wasn't having like the red mouth, and underneath his arms were like so much better. So after we saw the huge difference that we made with him, I actually got to start thinking I should do this for myself. And so the backstory is I haven't talked about this in any of my videos, and we're not going to share too much information today. I, over the past few years, have started developing some very strong reactions to certain foods, and I really started trying to keep track of what foods they were. I really felt like it was a couple specific foods, but then it was also really frustrating because there was some things that like I thought there was certain spices, but I couldn't figure out which ones. And then there was certain things that like when I would eat out somewhere, like every time it'd be a certain place, then it, you know, I would have some of these reactions. And some of these reactions, I'm not, again, going to go into huge detail, but it's pretty immediate sometimes and really uncomfortable and really gives you a lot of anxiety, especially if you start realizing like this could happen and like you're like looking at menus and you're like, what do I even order? And I really don't want to be out somewhere with friends or out at a theme park where I literally am sharing the food that I'm eating and have these reactions and just be in these uncomfortable situations. So I decided that I was going to do the test for myself after we got his test back and we were able to make changes in his diet, and it made such a huge difference. And I really had a list of like a couple of different foods. I really thought there was, you know, something going on with these specific foods. So it was really good to get this list back and get confirmed that the foods that I had narrowed down that I was having issues with were rated high on the intolerance scale. Again, with the human test, it's the same, where it's level 1, which is green. It says these are mild intolerances. Symptoms are probably not noticeable. The triggers can be affected at like cellular level, so it's probably not something I'm maybe noticing. Level 2, these are moderate intolerances. Symptoms are sometimes noticeable, so maybe avoid, but if you can eat it in moderation, maybe it won't be so bad. And then level 3, those are the severe intolerances. Those symptoms usually are noticeable. So there was a couple things that I really felt like, you know, something's going on here. And the difference between an intolerance and an allergy, it explains at the top, these can be temporary imbalances. So I think I'm still going to see an allergist because I do think that I have some things that have maybe segued into like a full-blown allergy. But this gives me a really good guide in the meantime to be able to start altering my diet. It says that it can be adjusted by adjusting your food consumption, and it gives your body time to heal basically, and maybe it won't react so violently to certain types of food again. But this was really eye-opening because when I got my test back, sure enough, I had tons of level 3 on there. Some of them were not as much of a surprise. Some of them were very much a surprise. And so this was the interesting part about getting this back, is because I can take action and really start trying to use it to make choices as far as what we're making here at home for dinner, what I'm ordering when I'm out. The really tough part is it's not like you can just avoid one whole food group, right? The nice thing is this is broken across food groups. It has, you know, food dyes, fruit, vegetables, proteins, nuts. But my intolerances are across basically every single group. So that's the tough part. So as you're going through and I'm trying to, you know, narrow things down, you really kind of have to weigh out, okay, this has so many level 3s in it, this has so many level 2s in it, you know, what can I eat off this menu that is not going to really affect me? But it also had some surprises. Like, for starters, we had recently been doing HelloFresh, which I think I shared in a number of my day in the life videos. A lot of times cooking with HelloFresh called for putting it in an oil on the stove. It's just how a lot of their recipes work. So typically I would go ahead and reach for what I have sitting right next to my stove, which is olive oil. And olive oil seems seemingly mundane, right? Why would olive oil bother anyone? Well, I have a level 3 intolerance to olive oil. Olive oil, peanut oil, palm kernel oil, hemp seed oil, and I don't have an intolerance to something like a grapeseed oil. So what this allows me to do is that I can alter how I'm cooking and just switch out that olive oil that I thought was seemingly mundane, but actually could literally be upsetting my stomach every single night when I make dinner with it. I mean, like, holy cow, I never would have guessed that one. Avocado oil also. So it's been a bit overwhelming to go through it and just look at things. Like, I hit the tea section. There was all kinds of red there. And if you don't know that about me, I drink a lot of tea. But luckily I got down to black tea and it was fine, nothing, golden. But then like jasmine, oolong tea, those were both level 3. So it's really interesting because you can even have in one category things you should eat, things you shouldn't really eat. So it's going to take some time to go down through this and really kind of make choices. Some of the toughest ones were wheat, because wheat isn't so much, and it's not a gluten intolerance. Gluten, I actually did not show an intolerance at all. It's literally to wheat. So that is going to be interesting because that's in so many things. And also a couple meats. I probably should avoid chicken and beef. Those were ones, well, the beef primarily I thought it was. I was a little surprised by the chicken. Chicken and beef were both level 2, but I've been having like noticeable issues, but it could also be because of the oils that they're cooked in. Potatoes, potato chips, French fries. So think about it, like if I sat down with like chicken and French fries. I literally have things lit up across the board that are on my intolerance list. So it just helps you order a little bit better, make different choices at home. Avocados, bananas, and golden delicious apples. Like, who would have thought a banana? You know, like, these are not things that I would have guessed. So I'm going to take some time to sit down and really try to form a plan for what I can eat. There's some really tough ones, like cooked tomatoes. So like literally before I got this back, I made the meal plan for this week. And our meal plan this week for dinner literally included lasagna, pizza, and pasta, spaghetti. So when you think about like what we literally had for dinner those nights, they all had wheat in the bread or pasta. They all had cooked tomatoes in the marinara sauce. The lasagna had meat on it. So it's like, I really got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what I'm going to eat. So anyhow, this is going to take me some time to process, I think. But the reason why I wanted to share this is because this has been like 2 years of, honestly, probably even maybe a little bit longer than that, but really started to affect, honestly, how I can live day to day for the past few years. And it gets worse sometimes when I'm traveling, because you're eating out different places and you maybe have a more limited menu. And so just having this definitive data of knowing what I should avoid and keep out of my diet as much as possible is super, super helpful, because there's nothing worse than like eating something and immediately feeling horrible. And like if you're out somewhere, like just it's a horrible, horrible feeling. So this has been super helpful. We are headed to Disney literally next week. So that's going to be interesting. Luckily, I don't have an intolerance to ice cream, so that's pretty much my plan is to eat ice cream with no cones. I'm joking. But, you know, it's tough because there's some things on here like beer, level 3 to beer. I'm not a beer drinker, so I'm not even going to notice that one, right? But other things like cooked tomatoes, which are in tons of meals. My husband is like literally a quarter Italian. And so like we eat a lot of things with cooked tomatoes in them that's going to be tough to eliminate from my diet. So it's going to be a process. I'll share little tidbits here and there, but the main reason I wanted to share is if you've been having this going on, you maybe been trying to do like a food diary, but there's really been some like elusive things that you just can't figure out. Oh, the spices for me. Let me share the spices. This really will help give you that data, and probably some things you didn't even realize, like the one I keep telling everyone is olive oil. Like I never would have guessed that. Also olives, black and green. That's sad because I love olives, and a number of nuts. I didn't realize I had any nut intolerances. I literally been drinking almond milk. I had almond milk creamer in my coffee every morning before I got this, and I have a level 3 intolerance to almonds and almond milk. So as you can see, I'm going to have to make a lot of different decisions going forwards, but I'm really hoping this helps me feel better. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the symptoms, but it's really, really uncomfortable, and it's really started to go over the point of being able to manage it without this data. I mean, it's literally hitting the point where like more nights than not, or more, you know, days out of the week than not, I was really feeling horrible after eating certain things. But some of them were harder to nail down than others. So for instance, the spices, I found out one of the things that was one of my early offenders, and I literally cannot eat these. I love gyros, they're amazing, but I found out in the shawarma spices, I am intolerant to level 3, highest intolerance, to so many spices, which are in the spices of gyros and shawarma spice. So yeah, so this is like my spice sheet. There's tons of red on here. Level 3 for snapper, swordfish. So it's across the board. It's like every single category there's some stuff to avoid. Cinnamon, that's sad. Paprika, ginger. So this basically just gives you the data for what to start to avoid. Now they do say with the food intolerances that it should be or could be temporary. That, you know, obviously I said this has been developing for me over the past 2 years and getting worse and worse and worse. So you literally have to eliminate these things from your diet to give your body time to heal, and then you can slowly reintroduce them later. But I think it's probably hit severe enough point for me. I'm not going to be able to eliminate for only 6 or 8 weeks. I'm probably going to have to eliminate these things for months, and then maybe slowly try to reintroduce things one at a time just to see if my body can tolerate it or not. And then maybe go to the allergist. But anyhow, I did want to share these because they had worked so well for Penguin. We got his back, made some immediate changes based on the data that we got, and he is so improved. And so, you know, when I got mine done, you know, I was really hopeful that it would give me some good data. I wasn't hoping to see this many things lit up on it, but it at least gives me some data to go on to hopefully be able to order better when I'm out places and be able to make decisions like not using olive oil here at home. And it was really super simple. I just, for Penguin, we just took a little snip of hair from the back of his neck. For me, I just snipped some hair like right here in the back, like in between the layers, so that way you wouldn't really be able to see it as it's growing back out. And I can still put it in a ponytail just fine. And so all that was super not invasive, which is great. And we got the results back for both of them in about a week after I sent it in. So pretty quick turnaround time too. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you have been struggling with this as well, if you have, I feel for you. It is not fun, and it puts you in a lot of stressful situations. So I'm just trying to manage it basically. And I hope this tool will help me not get in as many uncomfortable situations, especially when I'm out places, because it's really a horrible feeling. So anyhow, I will put the links down below to the 5 strands test for both pets and humans. They are different tests, so if you want to do one or the other, make sure you pick the right one. They do have environmental test or food only test or combined test, so you can really get the ones that will fit your needs the best. But I hope this helps someone out there, and we will be back with more vlogs from Disney. You may see some different food choices on the upcoming trip, but we will be sharing our Disney vlogs coming up very soon, and thanks for watching today. Have a great day.